And we should point out that one of those 4 teams was the Dallas Cowboys, who we assume now are completely out of that conversation because they have re-signed Dak Prescott. So you have the Bears, you have the Saints, and you have the Raiders. We are now thinking to ourselves, we should add a 4th team. If we were going to add a 4th team that should be on Russell Wilson's list of places he'd be willing to be traded to, which should that team be? Bart Scott, I'll start with you.
For me, I'm going to start with I'm going to go with the Carolina Panthers. Yeah, this is a team that has made it known that they want a future quarterback. Yeah, Teddy Bridgewater isn't Russell Wilson, but they can offer him back to Seattle in exchange for a bunch of draft picks and maybe Christian McCaffrey. But the idea of thinking about Russell Wilson with Robbie Anderson, some of the weapons they have there. Matt Rule is a dynamic play caller. This is a team, I think Matt Rule is trying to make a splash, and he wants to hitch his wagon to a franchise quarterback. I think they gave Teddy Bridgewater all the chances, that you can expect, and I think he wasn't impressed, so he's trying to make a big move. Russell Wilson would definitely move the needle.
It's a good point. They have sneaky good weapons in Carolina. Dan Graziano, what team should Russell add to his list?
I would go with the Miami Dolphins. I think they're positioned to make it happen should they decide they want to, right? They have the number 3 pick. They could send back Tua Tagovailoa, who was the number 5 pick last year, and maybe Seattle can sort of rebuild around him in this hypothetical, please, situation. But I think, Russell Wilson in Miami sounds like the kind of market that appeals to him based on the rest of his list. They're building something good there. Obviously, everybody likes playing for Brian Flores, the head coach, so he could be in a position to revitalize that franchise that has been a long time since it's been in the Super Bowl.
How about you, Tim Hasselbeck? What team should go on Russell's list?
Yeah, the name that came to mind was, the Dolphins, so I agree with Graz on that. I think it really ends up being kind of about the market. I mean, you're up in Seattle, sometimes you feel like you're playing in southern Alaska, and I think Russell Wilson kind of looks around the league. When we talk about the best of the best, we don't always include him, and the reality is he's been outstanding, almost as good as anybody, and he's carried that team. So I think the idea to go somewhere like Miami, I think is a market he would like to play in and like to kind of be recognized in. So I think he's going to handle it differently. I don't know he's going to be unhappy enough that it forces Seattle's hand, though.
And so we have mentioned Miami, Bart, really quickly. We've mentioned Miami in connection to Deshaun Watson. We've mentioned Miami in connection to Russell Wilson. One way or another, this has to happen before the draft. Yes, if this is going to happen, it should happen before the draft. Bart, would that be your expectation? This cannot go on all the way to the season?
Yeah, we'll have to go before the draft because you want the proper compensation to improve your football team this year. You think about 2 of the teams that have 2 first-round draft picks. You think about Miami. You think about the Jets. But the Jets, I think, are going to stay pat. But, definitely I think Russell Wilson has done enough in Seattle. He has nothing more to prove. I think they may try and grant him his wishes if he continues to be that squeaky wheel. He's been quiet. Sometimes when you don't hear any noise, that means some things are working behind the scenes.
That's the other factor with Miami. They have the 3rd pick in the draft, so they could offer Tua. They could offer that 3rd pick. You can get a quarterback either one of those ways. Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.